This is professional wrestler Chris Rex, and you're listening to the Playmaker's Blog Podcast, my only destination for sports talk radio.
In the 1990s, if you were a basketball fan, one team proved dominance, the Chicago Bulls. With an all-star team consisting of Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and arguably the greatest player in the NBA's history, Michael Jordan. In The Last Dance, ESPN documents the rise of Michael Jordan and the 1997 to 1998 Chicago Bulls championship season, which would ultimately be Michael Jordan's final season with the Chicago Bulls and the last playoff appearance of the Chicago Bulls after capturing what is known as the three-peat. As the ESPN series develops, the Playmaker will discuss the content and give you his thoughts and insight as a sports radio host and avid NBA fan. This is The Last Stand with the Playmaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Last Dance with the Playmaker. Your boy Darnell, the Playmaker, Sallins out here in Jacksonville, Florida. And the document series of The Last Dance has come to an end. The 97-98 Bulls, their sixth and final season, we got to see the finale of it on this past Sunday. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot about the flu game, which actually wasn't the flu game. We learned about Reggie Miller versus Michael Jordan. We got into Steve Kerr's life a bit. And the two finals battles with the Utah Jazz. So, there's a lot of stuff to get into, especially Dennis Rodman at this moment in time as well. I told you we'll be back to Dennis Rodman. And so, we're going to get into episodes 9 and 10. Finish off The Last Dance and go from there. So get your snacks, get your drinks, do whatever it is that you need to do to get comfortable to listen to this, because we finna go on this final journey of The Last Dance of Chicago Bulls Dynasty. All right, so let's dive into episode 9. Episode 9, the beginning talk shows Reggie Miller. This is when Reggie Miller talks about his matchups with the Bulls when he first met Jordan in 93, I believe, and he kind of played fun at Jordan because he was having a good first half. Jordan was having a bad first half. He said, "This is Michael Jordan." Okay. And what do I have been saying throughout this whole process of covering The Last Dance? Don't piss off Michael Jordan. Don't give him anything. Reggie Miller said what he said. Before you know it, Reggie Miller only scored 2 points in the second half, and how Reggie Miller put it, Michael scored a whole lot more. And from that point on, Michael Jordan looked at him and said, "Don't ever talk about Black Jesus." He said from that point on, he never called him Michael Jordan ever again. He was either Jordan, Black Jesus, or Black Cat. I think mainly Black Cat, though. But from that point on, Reggie Miller never referred to Michael Jordan as Michael Jordan. So, you don't piss off the GOAT. I don't say this how many times. Well, this is what, the fifth and final episode of The Last Dance for me. I don't say that in all 5 episodes. Don't piss off the GOAT. Oh, my goodness. Anyway. So now picking up where the show actually begins at, speaking of the Reggie Miller Indiana Pacers, when we left off on episode 8, it was the East Finals of the 98 season, and it's Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers standing in the way for Michael Jordan getting back to the finals with the Chicago Bulls. On his team, you had obviously Reggie Miller, Jalen Rose, you had Chris Mullin, you had Mark Jackson, you had the Smith brothers. They had a squad. This team had a squad. And for this squad, you had to do something about it. The head coach at the time was Larry Bird, so Jordan meets Larry Bird yet again. This is the team right here, and before they got into the series, Jordan said out of all the teams in the East who gave them the biggest challenge outside of the Detroit Pistons was the Indiana Pacers. So this is where we at in 98 season. Game 1, tightly contested game. Chicago Bulls put it out 85-79. Game 2, a little more comfortable, 104-98. Michael Jordan was awarded his 5th MVP of his career. The MVP of the season for the 5th time. But the series shifted to Indiana, and then this is where things get interesting. They lost Game 5, 105-107. Bulls up 2-1 in the series. And then we get to Game 4. is at a moment in time the Bulls are up. Reggie Miller and the crew, they are looking around. Reggie Miller's like, if we go down 3-1 to these guys, we're done. We're done because there's no coming back 3-1 against this team. So they put everything they had into those last couple of minutes of that game. But what happened was you lost the ball. You fouled Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was going to the line, and I believe Bob Costa was on the call. Either Bob Costa or Mark Albert was on the call because they were saying Scottie Pippen was 2 for 5 at this point in time. And what happens? Scottie Pippen misses the first free throw. Good gracious. It's still, I think it's a 1 point. I think it's 94-93 right now. So it's still like a 1 point game at this moment in time. Okay, you make this free throw, it's a 2 point game. They still got a chance to win, but it's a 2 point game. He misses the second free throw. Wow. Indiana gets the ball. They call timeout. Larry Bird draws up the play. Reggie Miller gets away from Ron Harper. Ron Harper and Jordan is switching. Reggie Miller knew what was coming. He pushes off on Michael Jordan, gets a clean, wide open look at the basket. Drills the three-pointer. Pacers take game 4, 94-96. Ladies and gentlemen, we are tied at 2-2 going to game 5. Now, this is where they cut it off right here. They cut it off right here to go back to the NBA Finals previously. The first time the Chicago Bulls and the Utah Jazz met up. Karl Malone was awarded MVP. You know who's not happy with that. He respected it. He understood it. But you know who ain't happy with it. That's the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. Okay. He gets it. All right. Game 1. They going back and forth. Oh, my God. John Stockton, Jeff Horner said Karl Malone and the crew, oh, they was not intimidated by the Chicago Bulls. Oh, this was finna be a fight. Okay. We get down here. Game 1. Game is tied. Game is tied. We are in Chicago. And Jordan gets the ball in his hand. The clock is going down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoosh. MJ, game winner. Bulls win game 1. They come back. They take game 2. Bulls up 2-0. The series shifts to Salt Lake City. A house of horrors for the Bulls, by the way. A house of horrors for the Bulls, by the way. They walk into game 3. Karl Malone wasn't having it. 37 points. Jazz win 104-93. Wasn't having it. We come back. Game 4. Okay, game 4. John Stockton. This is the game when John Stockton threw that one-handed pass all the way down to Karl Malone for like a touchdown. They take that one, 78-73. It is 2-2 in the NBA Finals in 1997. 2-2. Game 5. This is when you played 3 straight games at the lesser record team. So it was 3 straight games in Utah. Game 5. The most famous game of all the games in Jordan's career. This is what went down. So, Jordan is hungry. This is like, I think it was like 1 in the morning. Jordan's hungry. He got his trainer with him. It was like, yo, I need something to eat. So they looking around. There's nothing open because it's like, this is early morning. We're talking 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Nothing's open. They found a pizza place open. And from what there's 5 guys delivering 1 pizza box. Why is 5 guys delivering 1 pizza box? Why? Why is that? Something is not right about this picture here. It don't take. Okay, they up to something. Trainer said it. He's like he doesn't. Something ain't right about this whole situation. Jordan goes on to say he ate the pizza by himself. Nobody else ate it. He woke up sick, throwing up. He's like, hey, I need some help here. Trainer comes in. He's like, oh, yeah, you need some help. Get the team doctor in here. Food poisoning, ladies and gentlemen. Food poisoning. He's still going to play, though. He's been laying in bed all day. He's been resting. He missed shoot around. He missed that. He missed that and the other. Hey, he's still playing, though. It is not the flu game. It's the food poisoning game. So, we tip off, and you can just tell. Jordan is exhausted. He don't have no strength. He just, it seemingly is like he's going through the motions, but the man he's dealing with food poisoning while playing the game right now. How do you do that? All right. Scottie Pippen, he can tell. He's constantly, after every time, after every break, come on, MJ. Come on, MJ. You can get through it. You can get through it. And MJ, you can see it in his face. You can tell. He doesn't have the energy. The food poisoning his body is fighting food poisoning while he's still trying to play a game. That man sat there, played 44 minutes, dropped 38 points, and the Bulls took Game 5. Wow. Food poisoning, 44 minutes, 38 points. Bulls win. Take the critical 3-2 lead. MJ, man, the GOAT, dealing with food poisoning not even 24 hours afterwards. Not even 24 hours afterwards. He had it like the day of. Because it was early that morning. He had it the day of. Man is exhausted. The man's body is trying to fight off some poison stuff. Somebody tried to make Jordan very sick so he couldn't play. He played anyway and led the Bulls to a 3-2 lead. So, now we know it wasn't the food game. The food poisoning game now. So you have to change that around. The food poisoning game, not the flu game. Food poisoning give you flu-like symptoms. That's what it does. You throw up, your stomach ain't right. You don't even feel like moving, to be honest. But I don't have both before, so I know the feeling. I don't have food poisoning before. I don't have the flu before. They're almost similar. That's food poisoning. You just don't know it. You just don't feel like eating anything. And when you don't eat stuff and you don't do nothing with your body, your body shuts down. The flu, on the other hand, it automatically does that, no matter what you do. All right, so now we cut off from here. Now we get into the Steve Kerr story. Steve Kerr wasn't very looked at as a basketball player in his high school days. He had one scholarship. That was from the University of Arizona. He said he took it with no questions asked. His dad was a big part of his life. His dad was the vice president of America University, I would think. Something like that. And everything was going smoothly. But one day on January 18th in 1984, his dad, Michael Kerr, was shot and killed on campus by a group of teenagers. It was an unfortunate situation. I'm pretty sure it hurt like hell. But Steve Kerr was still at Arizona, and that's all he did was play ball. Because, as Steve Kerr said in the documentary, that was his getaway. That's how he got away from reality. Just play ball. So he continued to play ball. He was drafted by the Phoenix Suns. I know little known fact. Steve Kerr was actually drafted by the Phoenix Suns before he got his big break by playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then from there, he went to Chicago. So you got to see Steve Kerr's journey a bit. Drafted by the Suns. Which later on in his career, he became the GM of the Suns. That's when the Suns was starting to get real good. Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire and the crew. And played with the Cavaliers. That's when he got his big break. Then he shined with the Bulls. Before he shined with the Spurs. There you go. Now he's the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, who he himself has led to a dynasty. Even though we'll give some credit to Mark Jackson, and rightfully so. So they got into Steve Kerr. It was pretty much a foreshadowing talking about Steve Kerr because we get to Game 6. We are back in Chicago for Game 6 of the 1997 NBA Finals. You know, the game is on the line here. Do you have a Game 7 or do you end it here? We have a tightly contested game here. We have a timeout on the floor. Jordan tells Kerr, if Stockton comes to double me, you be ready. Steve Kerr's yelling, I'll be ready, I'll be ready. Even though Jordan was mumbling to him so nobody would know. Steve goes, I'll be ready, I'll be ready. Even though at the right, he changed it that time. So I don't know I can handle this. And it was like, just get a ball to Kerr. And Kerr's like, I got to bail Jordan out again. He was joking, but they understood. It was all fun and games. Jordan gets the ball. Here comes Stockton on the double team. Jordan splits the double team, finds Steve Kerr wide open. Steve Kerr drains the three-pointer with about 3 seconds left in the game. They miss, rebound, make some free throws. 90-86. Chicago Bulls win their 5th NBA championship. Chicago Bulls win their 5th NBA championship, and Steve Kerr helped bring it home. Very touching moment there. Good for Steve Kerr, man, because Steve Kerr, when the breaks were big, he didn't shy away, he drilled the shot. We already went through the rally of what Steve Kerr. It was mainly about Steve Kerr and what he's saying about that, how that all played out in a joking way. It was great to see that. I'm going to get to Karl Malone in a bit because he did something that I like, but I'm going to do it after I talk about episode 10. So now, as we're ready to close out this part of the show, this part of the segment, we get back to the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals with the Indiana Pacers. We are tied 2-2 going in. They split games 5 and 6. They don't say who won game 5 and who won game. But everybody can look it up and see who won game 4, who won game 6. It's the dreaded Game 7. Win or go home at its finest. Look here. When they got into it, Gus Slott, who was one of Michael Jordan's security, he just came back from having lung cancer, doing chemo and all that stuff. So, like, Gus was a main part of Jordan, a main man of Jordan's life just after his dad died. He'll call Gus. Gus will go check up on him. He'll go see him just to make sure he all right. That was pretty much the right hand man to Michael Jordan was Gus. Gus, he goes through his chemotherapy. He gets through all his treatments, and he's back. He's back in shape. He's back in uniform. He's ready to rock and roll. It's Game 7. Indiana Pacers, Chicago Bulls. Winner goes to the NBA Finals. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is it. Lay it all on the line right here. It's a back and forth battle. Each team doing it all. Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Chris Mullin, and the crew, they fighting. They fighting their butts off at the United Center in Chicago. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, they doing their thing. And it got to a point, the Pacers are up. Now, we have a jump ball scenario with, I think it's Smith versus Michael Jordan. And at this moment in time, Reggie Miller is saying, if we win this tip and we go up 5, you can call it quits right here. We're going to beat the Bulls. If we go up 5 with like 2 minutes to go, call it quit. We got the Bulls right where we want them. Smith wins the tip, but he hit it to Scottie Pippen. Chicago Bulls control the ball. They find State. It goes from Pippen to Jordan to Pippen to Steve Kerr, who is wide open for 3. Drains the three-pointer. We have a tie game. All of a sudden, the momentum shifted to the Bulls. Ron Harper gets a steal. The Bulls are off and running. And when the Bulls get off and running, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. So you know how Game 7 ended. 88-83, Chicago Bulls win a thrilling, one of the most memorable Game 7s in NBA history. They have advanced to the NBA Finals again, to meet the Utah Jazz again. And looking at it, this is how episode 9 ended. And we get another rematch. And we get in episode 10. Oh, we're going to talk about some stuff in episode 10. In episode 10 on the next segment. But this is how episode 9 ended. It's Bulls Jazz Part 2. That's what we're going to get into after this break. All right, now we get into the last and final episode of The Last Stand, episode 10. And in episode 10, we get the beginning of the part 2 of the Jazz and Bulls NBA Finals. Game 1, hard fought game. Like I said, Salt Lake City is a house of horrors for the Bulls, right? Game 1, Salt Lake City, it's going down. Look here. Back and forth, punch for punch, counter-punch for counter-punch. 88-85, overtime victory, home team Utah Jazz go up 1-0. Great game. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jeff Horner said, them boys came ready for this one. John Stockton said, I didn't fear them guys, because when you fear somebody, you give them advantage over it, you give them the power. John Stockton said he didn't want no team to have power over them. If they beat us, because they earned it. But we believe we can beat anybody, and that's how they played in both finals. The one we cover now, and the one I just covered in the previous segment. Cause that Jazz team there was something special. I'm gonna tell you like this before I continue on. Jordan said the biggest threat, the biggest challenge for him in the East was the Indiana Pacers outside of Detroit. But if we talking straight finals, the Utah Jazz was the biggest problem in the finals for the Chicago Bulls. Not the Lakers with Magic, not Clyde Drexler, not Charles Barkley. Even though Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns, they had a great team with Kenny Johnson and stuff like that, with KJ, all them. Good team. Seattle Supersonics, Gabe Payton, Sean Kemp and the crew, they had a good team. But the Utah Jazz, John Stockton, Jeff Hornacek, Karl Malone and the crew, that was a complete team. They knew how to play together. They understood each other's assignments. And they knew how to move the ball. That's why they was always one of the top scoring teams in the league. In both years they played the Chicago Bulls. They knew how to play the game. And this is why I say, out of all the teams the Bulls had to face in the finals, in 6 finals, they played the Jazz twice. That by itself to tell you how good the Jazz was and how much of a threat they was to the Bulls. Back to back, the last 2, 5 and 6 had to come at the hands of the Utah Jazz. Because that team was that damn good. That team was on something. That team was good. That team gave the Bulls the biggest problems in the finals, in my opinion. I don't know how everybody else, but for me, if I had to pick a team who the Bulls had to play in the finals that was their biggest challenge, it was the Utah Jazz. So now, we're going to go to Game 2. Game 2, another highly contested game, but the Bulls pulled it out 93-88. So it's 1-1. You got to split in Utah. I'm heading down to Chicago for 3 straight. So games 3, 4, and 5 are in Chicago. Here we go. Game 3. Good. Game 3. Good gracious. Whew. Now, I don't even think a prayer would have helped the Jazz in Game 3. 96-54. Every Bull scored. Everybody. Bill Cartwright was not Bill Cartwright. I can't think of his name right now. What you call it? He was the Wainwright. Wainwright was the last person to score for the Bulls. He was the only one who didn't score, and he scored. They put a smacking down They smackdown, pedigree, tombstone, choke, slam, stunner. Let's throw like 5 finishing moves on that, and then Utah Jazz got all 5 of them. Yeah, they just took y'all to the woodshed and just said, "Y'all get out my gym." Jeez, good gracious, Bulls up 2-1. Now we thinking the Bulls is finna on the road, and guess what happens? Dennis Rodman being Dennis Rodman. I told y'all we were going to get back to Dennis Rodman. I told y'all when we get back to the 98 finals, we going to get back to Dennis Rodman. Next day, Dennis Rodman's not at practice. It's not a shoot. Where's Dennis Rodman at? Hanging out with WCW's NWO, mainly Hulk Hogan. Come on, man. I knew they had to talk about it. I knew they had to talk about this. Dennis Rodman, dude, you in the NBA Finals. What are you doing? Oh, I'm hanging out with my homie Hulk Hogan in the NWO right now. I just needed to get it away for a minute, but you know they had something going on over here, and I wanted to be a part of it. Hey, I'm having fun. I'm hanging out with some ladies. I'm hanging out with the WCW champion. I'm hanging out with the best factions that is in the business. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and chill out with them for a couple of days and whatnot. Dennis Rodman, boy. Oh man. I knew it. Thank you for that. If anything y'all did me right on, y'all talk about Dennis Rodman being in WCW. You ain't get the whole story because the story actually continued after the finals when Karl Malone ended up joining the fray on Dallas Page side. There was a tag team match where Rodman and Hogan versus Page and Malone at Badge of the Beach. This is after the finals, so they couldn't dive into all of it because it was after the fact, and we focusing on the Chicago Bulls. So just throwing that out there. So for any of y'all who want to know how the story began and how it ended, WCW 1998 time, around the beginning of the finals and past the finals. So you talking about from June to July. So if you got you can look it up online, YouTube, or if you got the WE network, go to your WCW tab, go to your 98 stuff, and you'll see it. It's very funny though, very very funny. It was very funny. All right, so now the team don't find Dennis Rodman. But they got to sneak him out the back though because you know the media's waiting for him. Look, dude, you was a part of a wrestling show. Why are you in the finals? So they had to sneak him out the back door so he can get away from everybody. All right, we in game 4. The team got this up back together, quite frankly, because they won game 4, 86-82. It's a 3-1 lead. And it looks like, hey, we finna have a home parade here in Chicago for Game 5. Yeah, buddy. Finna have some good time. Karl Malone wasn't having it. Nah, Karl Malone wasn't having it. Karl Malone dropped 39 points in Game 5. He made damn sure. We going back to Salt Lake City, homie. And y'all coming with us. Utah Jazz took Game 5, 83-81. Get your ass on that plane and get your ass over here in Utah so I can come home and whoop on that ass some more. I'm pretty sure that's how Karl Malone said it. But all right, it's Game 5. It's Game 6. You back in Utah. If you lose, you gotta stay in Utah for a Game 7. I'm pretty sure Jones was like, I ain't trying to stay here because, damn it. It's tough winning here. Even though we won Game 2, damn it, it's tough winning here. With Jordan being Jordan. Jordan is a competitor. Jordan going down swinging. All right, we get to the game. Word comes out pre-game. Scottie Pippen's dealing with an alien back. And if anybody who have back problems, we sure know how hard it is to do anything when your back ain't acting right. If you having back pains, you can't do nothing. You can't do much. You can't. Dude, having back problems is a B out this world. Oh my gosh, so you having back pains. It's Game 6 of the NBA Finals. You trying to close this thing out before you got to deal with a Game 7. All right, Scotty, he goes in, Plays about a couple minutes, looks at MJ, looks at Phil, dude, I can't go. Takes him back to the locker room. Bulls is struggling. They get together. Pippen comes back. He's being a decoy. So they have this every 5-10 minute interval. Play, going to back for treatment. Play, going to back for treatment. Just they going back and forth, back and forth. Malone, Stockton, and the crew, they going down swinging. You already know Michael and the Bulls, they going down swinging. Is jabs, haymakers, jabs, haymakers, jab, Hageman back and forth, back. These two heavyweights, they're sitting here taking punches from each other because nobody wants to give up. Nobody wants to go down. And then we get to the moment. Michael steals the ball. I think he stole the ball from Karl Malone because he seen the play, stole the ball from Karl Malone. All right. Everybody seen it. Scottie Pippen said, "Get the hell," because they asked Scottie Pippen, "All right, when you in this moment, what are you thinking? Get the hell out the way, and let him do him." Dennis Rodman like, "Oh, he ain't passing the goddamn ball. I don't got much to do. He ain't passing. He is taking the shot. He is taking the shot." Jordan sitting there. You know, I'm just sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm waiting for the right moment. I know he knew what Brian Wilson was thinking. Give him a head fake. Use his momentum to get him out of the way. So he's sitting there. The clock is ticking down. I think we're down to 8 seconds at this point. Clock is ticking. Jordan makes his move. He drives to the middle of the free throw line. Stops. Has his hand on Brian Wilson. Bob Costa said he didn't push him because Brian Wilson was already heading in that direction. This is like Jordan just guided him that way. That's what Bob Costa said now. Bob Costa, he was on the call for this game. That's what he said. Jordan said the same thing, but everybody else says he pushed him off. It's for you to judge, ladies and gentlemen. Did Jordan push off on Russell, or did Russell's momentum was already carrying him in that direction, and Jordan guided him through? That's your call. Y'all can debate on that. I'm not going to. Guided him. Jordan steps back, shoots the ball, holds the follow through. Ball goes in the bucket. Jazz has one shot left. I think it's 1.2 left on the clock. They heave a throw. It doesn't go in. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th and final NBA championship. And that shot is long as the last shot. Why is it long as the last shot? Because that was the last shot MJ ever took wearing the Chicago Bulls uniform. They gave him number 6 on his finger. By the way, they clinched the second three-peat. Oh, by the way, MJ won his 6th Finals MVP. And party begins again. I want to give a shout out to Karl Malone. Like I said in seconds, I was going to wait for this one. Karl Malone went on the team bus. He went on the Chicago Bulls bus. He congratulated all of them, including Michael Jordan. That was a very classy move by Karl Malone, though. That I did not know. For Karl Malone to go on that team bus to congratulate everybody on winning that championship, that's something special. The team goes back to the hotel. There's a group of people, a whole bunch of people waiting on Michael Jordan and the team to celebrate number 6 with him. Jordan going in his room, raising his fist, having a good time while Gus is escorting him to his room, trying to keep people from him. But Jordan, hey, number 6, man, this is a moment. Everybody in his room playing the piano. The other teammates doing other things. They having a good time. They just won. They 6-1. They just achieved a second three-peat. This team here is unbelievable here. This team is unbelievable. And then we get down to it. Randolph off of Phil Jackson to come back again. Phil declines. Phil said it's time to move on. This was deemed the last dance for a reason. And he wanted to keep it that way. So Phil declines. And this is how the Bulls dynasty was ended. I'm getting to more of it in the closing segment. But that's episode 9 and 10 of The Last Dance, ladies and gentlemen. When I come back, we're going to talk about some other stuff real quick. And we'll close out The Last Dance with the Playmaker. Stay tuned. What's up? How's it going? You already know my voice. You know who I am. This is Darnell the Playmaker Sallins from the Playmakers podcast. And I just want to take some time and talk about Anchor FM as we've been using Anchor FM for over 2 years now, and it's been very good to us. It's been very great for us. So for those of you who trying to get into the podcast world and you need a hosting platform and you don't have the budget and you want to do something free just to try it out to see where you at, try Anchor FM. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid right away. So when you hear this, it sounds good enough. But I'm telling you right now, give it a shot. Anchor FM, by it being free, it gives you opportunity to step into the podcasting world and let you do your own thing. So if you want to give it a shot and you want to try to make some money or just do podcasting as a hobby, go to anchorfm.com/start to get started right away. And remember, once you get started, hit us up at the Playmakers blog so we can listen to you at the show. Good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, here we go. Just the time to get up out of here and do some closing remarks and final other things to talk about before we close out this podcast of the Last Dance with the Playmaker. So after the championship has won and Phil Jackson declined his offer, you just see that Phil Jackson was replaced. Scottie Pippen got traded. Dennis Rodman was released, and Steve Kerr got traded. And I believe Steve Kerr got traded to the I want to say the Spurs. I'm not sure though. Either way, Steve Kerr was traded. Steve Kerr paid for the Spurs. I think he won 2 titles with the Spurs. Pippen played for the Portland Trailblazers and the Houston Rockets. But I think he played for Portland first, and that's when Portland had Rasheed Wallace, Bo Wallace. That team had a match. That team was crewed up. But around that time in the early 2000s, that's when Shaq and Kobe emerged, and Phil Jackson was on the side coaching the Lakers. He did play with the Houston Rockets, but that didn't go so well. Steve Kerr, Pippen did retire. Jordan did end up coming back playing for the Grizzlies, but it wasn't the same. Steve Kerr did end up winning, like I said, 2 titles. I think 1 or 2 titles with the San Antonio Spurs. He did retire, became a GM of the Phoenix Suns, and we know him now as being the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, who has gotten his own dynasty, winning 3 titles in 4 years, or 5 years. They've been to the final 5 straight years. They beat the Cavs the first time. They lost the Cavs the second time. They beat the Cavs the next 2 times, and they lost to Toronto this past final season. And we don't know how this NBA season is going to go. I think they might as well. Let me just go ahead and say this off the record. Say this just to put this out there. We halfway through May, and right about now we should be in the conference finals. So I'm at the point I'm kind of agreeing with most people. Let's go ahead and cancel the season, start afresh. Maybe in November, probably not in October, maybe in November. Because come on, we about like a couple of weeks away from being in June, in which the NBA finals would have started, and we still 75% through the season. It's not even 75%, probably 65% through the season. There's still a lot of basketball to be played. So, but that's another topic for another day. So, the Bulls dynasty ended by management. Obviously, Jerry Cruz, Jerry Randolph. Scottie Pippen kind of said some light on Jerry Cruz though. He said he had the best team in the league. He had the best player on the planet in Michael Jordan. Jerry Cruz had to be the best GM because he did put the team together. Despite him wanting more attention and more glory for what has happened, he did put the team together. He did win 2 Executive of the Year awards with this team. He had the best coach of all time in Phil Jackson, the GOAT coaches, with 11 titles. Even though Greg Popovich he's up there. Greg Popovich is up. I think you might go Phil Jackson 1 and Greg Popovich 2. Even some people might say Phil Jackson 1A and Greg Popovich 1B. Don't matter. Greg Popovich is one of the best coaches coaching basketball. That man can coach. So you had all this going on. And then Michael Jordan, he's like, he wanted to go for 7. He wanted to go for number 7, and he wanted a shot at it. Now, he was asking, do he think they would win? Maybe. Well, they probably lost? Maybe. He wanted a shot at 7, though. He wanted his shot at number 7, but he didn't get his shot at 7. It didn't happen. So, when he didn't get his shot at 7, it is what it is. But when you look at it, this man went to the finals 6 times. He won every finals he been in. He won 6 finals MVPs. That's the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen, 6 finals appearances, 6 final champion. But you got to say on that one. Scottie Pippen, a lot of people say Scottie Pippen's overrated. Scottie Pippen's not overrated. Scottie Pippen understood Michael Jordan was the man of the team. He knew his role. He played his role. When Michael Jordan left and he retired for them 2 years, Scottie Pippen took over the league. Scottie Pippen was dominating. Scottie Pippen was the guy. Now, he did run into my Orlando Magic with, Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal, Nick Anderson, and the crew. He did run into the New York Knicks with Patrick Ewing, as we all talked about before, and episodes somewhere between 6 to 8. But Scottie Pippen can ball. Do not sit here and discount Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is a top 50 player in this league. Scottie Pippen is a top 50 player overall. Come on, man. Scottie Pippen. Of course, Jordan was great. Nobody's topping Jordan. But to sit here and say Scottie Pippen wasn't good, that's just a damn lie. Scottie Pippen is one of the greatest players. Is one of the greats. Let's get that through right here, right now. Scottie Pippen is one of the greats. He's not overrated. Scottie Pippen is underrated. He didn't get to appreciate it as much as he did. Remember, do I need to go back to the episode 2? This man contract was the 122nd contract in the damn league. And he was the best player, the second best player in the league behind Michael Jordan. Don't even try that. I don't even want to hear that. Scottie Pippen did his thing. Dennis Rodman did his thing. Steve Kerr did his thing. Tony Kukoc. For all the things, we only saw Tony Kukoc when he talked about the Dream Team and the thing with Scottie Pippen with Kukoc getting the last. Tony Kukoc hit some man, y'all they ain't even show all the shots Tony Kukoc made in clutch moments, man. Come on now. We love Barbara Orr because Barbara already got 7 and he did a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. Tony Kukoc did the same thing. He probably don't have 7 rings to back it up, but damn it, Tony Kukoc did the same thing. When you needed Tony Kukoc to hit their shot, he was right there to hit it. It didn't matter. So, because Dennis Rodman, go to Vegas, let's go hang out with Hogan, Carmen Electra, Madonna, Phil Jackson knew how to control all of it. Him and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was an asshole at times. Michael Jordan was a jerk at times, but guess what? He did it for a cause, and the cause was to win at all costs. And to win at all costs, you want the best out of everybody. And he wanted the best out of everybody. He ended up with 6 championships, 6 Finals MVP. Jordan was not gonna take nothing less but winning it all. He said to this day he still can't accept the fact that he didn't have a chance to go for 7. He wanted to go say he believed if Phil Jackson would have came back for a year, he would have came back for a year. Scottie Pippen would have came back for a year. Steve Kerr would have came back for a year. Dennis Rodman would have came back for a year. That's how Jordan felt. This is exactly how Jordan felt. But that's not what happened. Where they would have won a 7. I'm talking about the 99 season. The 99 season going into 2000, that was those wins. San Antonio emerged with Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and they went up against the Knicks, who had Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston. Matter of fact, the New York Knicks was the 8 seed. They knocked out the Indiana Pacers. Matter of fact, Mark Rober was talking about that on Get Up on Monday. That the Indiana Pacers, who had that great team that we talking about with Jalen Rose, Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller, and the crew, they got beat by the Knicks, who was the last seed in the East to make the tournament. So you can say so there's theories out there that say if Indiana would have beat them, maybe so, but we don't know because they all lost to the Knicks, homie. The Knicks didn't have Patrick Ewing. I don't think Knicks had Patrick Ewing then. They probably did, but he was on his last legs. That's when the San Antonio Spurs came about. And after that, the LA Lakers. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher, Rick Fox. I think Robert Horry was there at that time. I think Robert Horry was there. Phil Jackson, the head of the crew. Now we saying Phil Jackson wouldn't have been in the Lakers, so hey, who knows? If they would have had a chance, would have got 7? I give it a 90% chance they probably would have got 7. I give it a 90%. I give it a 10% chance somebody would have knocked them off. 10%. That's what I do. So, but that's my extra stuff for today. When I come back to close it out, I'm gonna give you a full overview of this dynasty team and my closing remarks. So stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to close this show out, we have watched a 10-episode documentary series on one of the greatest dynasties to ever play in sports, the 90 Chicago Bulls team from 1991 all the way up to 1998. 6 titles in 8 years. They have beaten Magic, the Bad Boy Pistons, Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trail Blazers, Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers, Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal and Orlando Magics. They have beaten Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns. They have beaten Karl Malone and Utah Jazz twice to win 2 finals. They have they showed the trivia that the Bulls have eliminated the most 60-win team in NBA history, and it's 7 of them. I think I just named all 7 of them. The Pistons, the Pistons, the Pacers, the Knicks, the Suns, the Trailblazers, the Jazz twice. I mean, the Magic. Yes, that's all 7 right there. This team led by Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson. One of the greatest dynasties ever in sports history. People will say the Yankees, rightfully so. When you won like what 22, 27 World Series, Jesus Christ. You can look at the Celtics; they got what 17 banners, and most of them, and 13 of them came from Bill Russell. By him, 13 of them came from Bill Russell. All right, UCLA Bruins with Bill Walton in the crew. Can't argue with that one. You want to throw the Patriots in there? Yeah, you can throw the Patriots in there. How much they probably cheated their way there. If we gonna say, I feel like they cheated their way there on some of them. Others see it feel the same way. But hey, it's a dynasty. You can throw the Cowboys in there, the Steelers in there, the 49ers in there. But this Chicago Bulls team, Michael Jordan gave this team a mindset that we will win at all costs. We will do whatever it takes to win. Win at all costs. That was Michael Jordan mindset. Yeah, his teammates were afraid of him. They was afraid. They didn't like some of the things that he did, but he challenged them. He challenged them to be the best version of themselves. If you're gonna wear this Bull uniform, the goal is to hang a banner up there, to get a championship ring, and to bring home that trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy. They did it 6 times in 8 years. And the dynasty didn't fail because they lost. The dynasty fell apart because management wanted to go a different direction. Money was a problem. Egos was a problem. Jerry Caruso does deserve credit because he did put this team together. Randolph did sign off on this, and he signed the players that was needed. But at the same time, y'all ended it too. The Jerry's ended it too. Jerry Caruso wasn't getting the credit he felt he deserved, and he didn't like being the outcast. He felt some type of way. He told Phil Jackson, "Hey, this is it for you. You can go 8-2-0. You ain't coming back." Phil Jackson stuck to that. Went around asking him to come back for one more year. And Phil Jackson stayed to it. Now this is it. We deemed it the last dance for a reason. That was the last dance. The last dance went out with a bang. That's what it is. So Jerry Carew, Jerry Randolph, y'all do deserve your own criticism as well. Because y'all ended the dynasty that could have kept going. Y'all could have had 7. And still to this day, y'all haven't won a title since. Y'all haven't even been to the finals since. Have y'all been to the Eastern Finals with Derrick Rose? I think it was the conference. I think it was the semifinals. I don't know if it was the conference finals yet. But even so, y'all haven't been to the finals since Jordan. Y'all haven't even sniffed the finals since Jordan. So this is what it is. This is how it was. And those of you who are young, who was born in the late 90s and the early 2000s, hopefully that y'all watch this documentary series and y'all understand why we say what we say when it comes to Michael Jordan. And why Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And why nobody can touch Michael Jordan. Because Jordan wasn't going to let you touch him. Jordan was that type of dude. Okay, you think you good enough? All right, I'm going to prove it to you ain't good enough. And he did it each and every time. Clyde Drexler was one of the top players in the NBA. He showed him up in game 1 and it went downhill from there. Charles Barkley won MVP. Okay, take this. Tony Kukoc being looked at by Jerry Carew over in Croatia. Olympics started. Jordan let him have it. Karl Malone won MVP and won the 2 finals appearances. Michael Jordan let him have it. B.J. Armstrong wanted the showboat and let Jordan know, hey, you ain't going to push the Charlotte Hornets around. Jordan said, watch this. Reggie Miller said what he said to Jordan at halftime. Jordan said, watch this. Whatever you said to Jordan, if it added fuel to the fire, just know you finna lose. Plain and simple. So everybody that love LeBron, LeBron's a great player. LeBron's a hell of a player. LeBron's the best player of this generation. What we talking about greatest of all time is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. MJ Air Jordan. But I hope y'all learned from this documentary. Jordan was a man possessed to win championships. His competitive nature took over whenever, however, and when and whatever. And still to this day, no matter what. I still say 10 episodes ain't enough. I need more. And most people would agree, we need more. But you gave us 10. We are thankful for the 10 that you gave us during this pandemic situation. We thank you for it. We thank Jordan. We thank Pippen. We thank Kukoc. We thank Kerr, Phil, Rodman. Everybody who contributed to this documentary, we thank you because we got to see what it took for this team to reach that 6th championship. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is it with The Last Chance with the Playmaker. We went through the journey for the last 5 weeks covering the Chicago Bulls dynasty. It was a great journey to cover, and I am truly blessed to have watched it. As always, you can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on Stitcher. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Speaker.com, YouTube. Of course, the home base is Anchor. If you got us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, please leave a review and rate us, please. We'll be so thankful for that. Also, if you want to donate, you can donate to either our Cash App, $D Playmakers. You can also donate to our PayPal. I think it's the same thing. $D Playmaker. We'll love donations. Please donate. We have our online store up, theplaymakers.threadless.com. We do have our website, theplaymakersbar.com. Check both of those out. Be on the lookout for tomorrow's episode. Chris Rex, Alex, the Bear of Texas, they are back with their final episode of Dark Side of the Podcast season 2 of the Dark Side of the Ring, as they are going to talk about what is being discussed with Owen Hart. One of the most anticipated episodes, I believe, and I believe this episode is going to be very, very intriguing to hear when Alex and Chris do this episode. So, with that being said, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Hey, get involved in our wrestling tournament, Best on the Mic tournament. We are at match 7 right now. We're almost there to start doing our podcast episode. We're reviewing the results for the first 8 matches. We are almost there. Please follow us. Please send your votes in. We want to hear from you guys. We want to interact with you guys. And thank you for joining me on this last dance chore. So, down at the Playmaker Sounds out here in Jacksonville, Florida, I am signing out. I will catch you guys when I do.